Hey everybody, welcome back to Rudo Radio, the weekly wrestling podcast from SB Nation Cage Side Seats. I'm Bill Hanstock, and with me as always is Mark Normandin. Hi Mark.
Hello Bill.
Are you excited?
Well, I'm recording this podcast wearing a Seth Rollins shirt and a Balor Club hoodie.
And a unicorn horn.
Well, I mean, that just hasn't arrived yet.
And you're hugging the Money in the Bank briefcase tight to your chest while staring at your box of Bootios.
I was so disappointed just randomly thinking about what could happen in the main event when I realized, there is no Money in the Bank briefcase to be cashed.
It's true, but that doesn't mean that people won't be running out. I've heard rumblings that they're going to make the main event a no disqualification match. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. Welcome to Rudo Radio's big-ass WrestleMania weekend preview. We're going to run down the cards for TakeOver and WrestleMania and talk about them. And along the way, we'll talk about everything that happened on Raw and whatever. And we'll also get into a little bit of Lucha Underground before we head out. Of course, I will be boots on the ground this weekend at WrestleMania. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. If you're at WrestleMania, I'll be pretty much, I'll be regularly updating where I'll be. So if you're at WrestleMania and you see on Twitter that I'm at a place that you're at, come say hi. I like to meet new people. So come say hello. I'm going to be checking out Access. I'm going to be checking out WrestleMania on Sunday, of course. I'm going to be going to the WWN Super Show on Saturday. I'll be at WrestleCon here and there. There's just a lot of stuff to do. So if you're around, say hi. Otherwise, keep it pinned to CagesideSeats.com, which is going to have all of the information all weekend long on everything, Hall of Fame, TakeOver, all of it. And you can read my recaps of things at sbnation.com/wrestling. And Mark, we're also doing some combo coverage this week at SB Nation, right?
We sure are. I mean, as everyone knows, baseball Twitter and wrestling Twitter are the exact same thing. And opening day is happening at the same time as WrestleMania. So, why not just do stuff that's both? We'll just, you only have so much time on Sunday to enjoy any of it. So we're just gonna combine it all for you.
Yeah, so we've got some good mashup stuff happening. So we're going to be, both Cage Side Seats and SB Nation are going to be tweeting live results of everything that's happening on Sunday at WrestleMania. We've got some MLB and pro wrestling mashup stuff going up on the weekend over at SB Nation. So check it all out. And, we appreciate it. We appreciate your patronage. Mark, let's just dive right in. Let's get into talking about NXT TakeOver and the match that everybody is talking about, Apollo Crews versus Elias Samson.
Oh man, I am the opposite of Mojo Rawley for this.
You are not hyped, nor shall you ever become hyped.
I think
at no point shall you transform into a state of hypeness.
And it's just such a shame because I like Apollo Crews and he's obviously very talented in the ring, but it's gotten to that point now where he's been around so long and I just have zero connection with the character. Mm-hmm. So putting him in with a guy who is also fine in the ring, who I have zero connection to, is just led me to this mojo-less state.
Yeah, I think the only bummer with Apollo Crews is everyone sort of has a thing. But, I guess, I mean, he sort of has a gimmick in the sense of, the whole, too easy thing, and he's just here to be the best, but, he's just a guy, and that's the bummer about him is because he's not just a guy. He's pretty special, but his character is, just a guy who wants to be good.
Yeah, and, you see some of this, it feels like one of those things where you realize, part of what happens on Breaking Ground is, real, because one of the big complaints they had with Apollo Crews in Breaking Ground was, connecting with the fans in a way other than just being good at wrestling.
Right.
Really coming up with a character and, motivations and doing something besides just smiling all the way through promos. And, we're not there yet. So even if in-ring Apollo Crews, is mostly ready for WWE, it's pretty clear by his the placement on this card that he's not quite there yet. It's just a weird combination for two guys who aren't quite there to be facing each other. But hey, maybe this will be kind of a surprise.
Yeah. So last week, I believe it was last week, we saw Gargano get a flash roll up on Elias Samson, and Elias Samson lost his first match, but it was Samson's first match against non-jobber talent. So he lost his first match, and then he sort of snapped. and like he showed like for the first time like something like halfway interesting, and he also did this amazing like jumping knee strike to Gargano on the outside that was like, wow, that should probably be your finish, buddy.
Not doing Aiden English's finisher, except with, you know, a much larger person doing it.
Right. Yeah, it was just, I mean, I enjoyed it, like him sort of going crazy and him like yelling like, you ruined it. And, and I like, it almost made it worth it to like have this character transition of like, hey man, everything's cool. I'm just your friendly neighborhood drifting heroin addict. Just wrestling and being laid back, man. That's all I have to do is just wrestle and be cool. And then like, when he loses, like he just goes completely batshit. Like, that's a really cool idea, but it's not like do Elias Samson for 4 months a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, they had this problem with Fandango on the main roster too, where it was like he loses and then all of a sudden he's edgy and like, you know, really dangerous and all that. But it's like you got to stick with it and tell like a progressive story, not just keep doing the same thing over and over for months at a time. So maybe this match against Cruz will surprise everyone, and Samson will just like viciously destroy him.
Yeah, what I'm really hoping,
both of them will get new points.
What I'm really hoping from the match is that Samson and Cruz becomes like Elias Samson's Baron Corbin versus Joe moment, where he just like shows up and he's like, "Hey everybody, check it out! I'm a really good wrestler. I just haven't been able to show anyone yet because I've been wrestling jobbers for 4 months and trying to get over this drifter gimmick that not even the announcers know what I'm doing." So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he shows up and him and Cruz sort of tear it up. But I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic about that.
Yeah, I mean, the way Corbin developed is pretty much the reason why I'm not totally out on Samson yet. So,
right. And the whole thing about like predicting this finish is like, you would assume for either of these guys to move to another, like if this is just a match for both of these guys, it sort of screws over Samson because Cruz is like one of the most like powerful people in NXT. But if Samson wins, like you would think that would be a good point to move both of their characters forward, as you said. But there's a massive chance that the WrestleMania weekend crowd will shit all over it if Samson wins, and not in the good way.
Yeah, I mean they can use that though.
Yeah, yeah.
If they have to, and it's kind of a one-time thing. But
they made Eva Marie a star. I mean, she is a star, but they helped.
More on Eva later.
So who do you think is going to win?
I feel like they give it to Samson because Cruz is just kind of drifting right now.
Oh, hey.
Didn't mean to do that.
He's treading water.
Also good. Yeah, there's no real clear direction for Cruz, and I don't know if beating Samson gives him one. Mm-hmm. So it feels like the more productive thing to do is have like new wide-eyed, dangerous, edgy Samson go over Cruz, and we start to see a little bit more of what he's about while Apollo tries to figure out who he even is.
I think that's a good idea. The next match is Austin Aries versus Baron Corbin in the battle of the little indie guy versus the big old mean bully who hates everything that Austin Aries stands for. So
I was at an NXT house show in Albany, and there was a tag match where Aries was teaming with Balor and Joe was teaming with Corbin. And there's this dude behind me who I think his favorite wrestler must be Austin Aries because he kept screaming about how he's the greatest thing ever about TNA and that Baron Corbin should, pretty much die in a fire. And he did that for like 20 minutes, so that was really cool and entertaining. But because of this guy, I just want Corbin to pick up Aries and launch him into the sun. Like, Austin Aries seems nice enough and it'd be cool to have him around NXT, but I think the sacrifice is worth it just to get back at this guy.
So your official prediction?
Austin Aries launch into the sun. But no, I actually think Aries might lose because Corbin hasn't really had a lot of success against these indie guys he hates so much. and it would be good to see him finally, take one of them down, even if he eventually loses a feud or whatever. But kind of in a high profile space.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right thing to do. Although I think it would be great for Aries to win his, quote unquote debut match, and also just send Corbin on an even crazier spiral, because he just have him lose to increasingly smaller and smaller indie stars. He loses to Jonathan Gresham at one point.
Oh man.
The next match I'm super, super excited about. I think that a lot of people are excited about it. It on paper, it looks like it might very well be the match of the entire weekend. It's certainly one of the most anticipated matches for a lot of reasons. I think it's going to be one of the 3 most emotional matches of the weekend without a doubt. I'm talking about Sami Zayn versus the debuting Shinsuke Nakamura.
I feel like it's very difficult to bring someone into the fold who I want to see defeat Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
But here we are. Not just because of where Sami is in his career and moving up to the main roster. No, Nakamura, I want to see Nakamura beat Sami Zayn because it's Shinsuke. He's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that there's probably no way that Shinsuke doesn't win this match, which may make WrestleMania even more awesome. But I think that they're probably going to treat this, if they don't treat this in such a way, I think the fans definitely will treat this like Sami Zayn's unofficial goodbye from NXT. And I think that for that reason, it's going to be real emotional. And that's another reason for Sami to lose the matches. Because you would think that if anyone believes in the, you lose on your way out of the territory rule, it would be Sami. Yeah. And I think that, if people start a thank you Sami chant during the match, I'm probably going to lose it. It definitely isn't going to sort of reach the emotional heights of Bayley versus Sasha, because there's no real, deep history here. There's no real stakes, but it's gonna be quite a moment for Sami Zayn to fully graduate to the main roster. If that's indeed what this is.
There's nothing left for him to do. He keeps saying he wants to be the first 2-time NXT champion, but does anyone else actually want that?
I'm sure a lot of people do. That's why Neville's going to come back from his injury, and he's going to be the first 2-time champion.
I think it's a good idea to have guys come back and say hey, I'm going to win again, just while I'm passing through town.
It would be
better than all you bozos or whatever, but
it would be cool if on a takeover you had a multi-man, you had a match between Rollins, Big E, Bo, Neville, and Sami for the right to challenge to become the first 2-time NXT champion.
That would be
never happen.
Never
ever happen.
I would love to see some kind of NXT champions, some reason to do that kind of match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at some point on the main roster, you would think there's going to be a Money in the Bank match that's going to be all former NXT guys.
Oh, it'd be so great.
Yeah. The NXT tag team. Oh wait, so we're both predicting Nakamura's going to win.
Yeah, there's nothing for Sami left to do. That's why he got Nakamura. Also,
you bring in Nakamura because he's a huge deal. You don't bring him in to lose.
Yeah, I can see Austin Aries losing because I can also see Austin Aries never leaving NXT.
Right.
He's there, with Lucha Underground and the Daryl Wolf. Mm-hmm. You have an excuse to have him lose, and that be a surprise because you always just assume new guy, debut match, he's going to win.
Right.
But not with you're not going to play that with Nakamura. That makes no sense.
Nice. So, what I am excited about is all of the card. But what I'm really excited about, I would say, you know what? I'm the top 4 matches on this card. It's hard to say what I'm most excited for. But
let's measure it. Let's measure it in Mojo Rawleys.
Just all of them. Just
all the Mojo. That's too much. Is a Gronk
all of them in a big sweaty Zubaz pile.
Oh. This is a terrifying place I never want to go to.
The tag team championships are on the line as the Revival defends against American Alpha. As our guest last week stated, this is just a layup.
Yeah, if American Alpha doesn't win with their Steiner singlets and their ridiculous suplexes, I don't even know what the point of anything is. It's so rare that I can't think of an NXT result in a takeover where I've ever been mad. That was just the wrong decision. This is just dumb. But I'm pretty sure American Alpha losing would be it for me. They're just so hot right now, and there's no reason to push it further away. Like they it seemed like they were doing with Enzo and Cass. No, the time's now. Give it to them.
And that video package that American Alpha got was just one of the best ever.
Oh, it was so perfect.
With Chad Gable just German suplexing the piss out of everybody.
Oh, man, I could just watch those two suplex people forever.
And we will, hopefully.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah. Hopefully we shall do this forever. So I'm excited about American Alpha winning the tag team titles and going on to defend against everyone, probably against Vaudevillains first off, because the Vaudevillains are lurking and being evil, newly evil once again. The NXT Women's Championship match, Bayley versus Asuka, of course, will be another classic, one assumes. And, until 2 weeks ago, I was absolutely convinced that Asuka was going to win the championship. But now I'm not so sure. I think that, honestly, Bayley will probably retain.
Yeah, Brandon convinced me last week when he was on the podcast that, if you really want to do... Because you can make Asuka a heel pretty easily by, destroying Bayley after the match. But at the same time, I think, Bayley's still going to get her rematch. So her official goodbye, they can still do it the way they did, Sasha, where you get one more match after the fact, and that's still Bayley's goodbye. So I'm still torn. It's just nowhere near as, well, of course Asuka's going to win as I was a week ago.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the women's match? Are you, what do you think? What do you think this is going to look like?
Oh, I think it's probably going to be one of the longer matches of the night. Mm-hmm. Asuka's had a couple of lengthy bouts with Emma now, and they've been great. Mm-hmm. And no, not saying anything negative about Emma, but man, if that's what you get out of Emma and Asuka, I can't wait to see what you do if you give the same amount of time or more to Bayley and Asuka.
Yeah, I think
could be a huge one.
I think last week's Asuka Emma match, I liked that match a lot better than their first one, and they're both great.
Really?
Yeah. I enjoy that finishing run in that match was an amazing sprint.
That's fair. I mean, they were two very different,
right?
Kind of stories they were telling.
Yeah. Also, it was at a normal time of day that I watched it.
Oh.
It wasn't in the middle of the afternoon or whatever the London match was.
I guess this one's at a weird time too, but at least it's late at night's not as weird of a time for wrestling as it's 3:00 in the afternoon and I'm at work.
Right. Yeah. The last match on TakeOver, the NXT Championship, Finn Balor, Samoan Joseph, using his formal name because it's an important match.
Oh yeah, it's a formal event.
Probably Finn's going to bring the demon, you would assume. And what do you think is going to happen?
Man, I don't know, which is kind of great.
Yeah, it's the best.
Because I'm going to be talking myself into pretty much anything until it actually, does or doesn't happen on Friday night. I can see Finn bringing the demon and losing with the demon for the first time, which kind of hastens the arrival of Bulletproof Balor Club because, hey, if the demon's not doing it, then you might as well get some numbers game going. I can see Joe losing being called up to WWE after, and Finn staying at NXT longer. I can see Finn retaining, and then going up to WWE with the NXT belt, at least for a time. Mm-hmm. Pretty much everything is on the table except for disappointment.
I think that the two most likely possibilities, in no particular order, are Joe is the first person to defeat the Demon Balor and win the title, or Finn retains via interference from a debuting Balor Club. I think those are the two most likely things.
Does he come out as the Demon if Balor Club is coming?
Sure.
Or do you think he maybe...
Well, he's painted up as a member of the Bullet Club before.
That's true. But I feel like there might be...
But yeah, that would be something pretty cool of like if he just comes out as like Leather Jacket Balor, but I feel like he and NXT might feel like they're cheating the WrestleMania weekend crowd if they don't see the Demon.
That's true.
Because if there's any big match, it's this weekend, and that's a big match thing.
Although if the payoff to that is that Balor Club comes out, people might not be that upset by the end.
Right. Also,
give away the game a little too much though if he comes out in just the jacket.
Well, like if Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows are in fact like going to be like full like Bullet Club versions of themselves, like Doc Gallows is going to have his face all painted up too, so it's not going to be super weird.
Fair.
But let's get you down on paper. What do you think is going to happen? What's your actual prediction for the match?
That's... Can I tell you after it happens on
Nope,
Friday?
You cannot.
That's unfair. I think Finn retains and works his way up to the main roster, still being champion.
Okay. I think Joe is the first person to beat Balor, and I think that the Bullet Kloof Balor Blub debuts on Raw on Monday.
Those European soccer clubs just keep getting weirder and weirder names.
Bulletproof FC. Okay, that's NXT TakeOver. Let's move on to the granddaddy of them all, the grandest stage on Earth, WrestleMania, the city that never sleeps, the Big Easy.
It's at the Silverdome, brother.
It sure is every year. No matter where you are, it's at the Silverdome. First match on the card, part of the kickoff show. That barn-burning grudge match. The Usos taking on the Dudley Boys.
And they ended up just making it be those two, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I mean, there are a lot of people injured, and they still have to round out the field for the Dre. So,
I mean, it seems like a way to open on a 2-hour pre-show with multiple matches for a night that will be 6 hours long. So it seems like an appropriate way to and check the levels.
This year, in case people who aren't aware, so the kickoff show is 2 hours long. It starts at 5 Eastern on the network, but then at 6 Eastern, the kickoff show is simulcast on the USA Network, and there are 3 matches on the kickoff show. Possibly all 3 of them will be on USA Network, but at least the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So three matches on the kickoff show. There were 2 last year. There were, I believe, 2 the year before, but maybe just 1. Maybe just the tag team title match. So they're putting more and more on the kickoff show. It's gonna be fun, obviously. But if you weren't aware, you can watch at least part of this on USA Network. So if you don't like watching stuff on your computer or don't have the setup for a network or whatever, flip on over to USA Network. So this might be one of the matches on there. I think it'll probably be the first match we see all night, Usos versus Dudleys. Just because it's like sort of the most lackluster.
Yeah, unless like one of the other 2 matches is expected to be super hot and they want to do a cool down after, but I don't know. I mean, it's weird because they're using that USA time to convince people who don't have the network to sign up for the network and watch Mania.
Right.
So I'm not sure how like balls out these first matches are going to be.
Well,
like, they could be crazy.
I think the Dre, because the first two have been awesome. Like, regardless of how you feel about Big Show winning, like, the first two Dre's have been...
Oh, they were so good.
Yeah, fantastic. So, that's a good pump-up match. I think that the Divas match will probably be fun. Good showcase for everyone. Like, it's cool for them to get, like, 10 of their women onto USA Network before... You know, it's a big deal. Like, the kickoff show is a huge deal to be on USA Network because that's way, way, way more households than will buy it on pay-per-view or will watch it on WWE Network. So
yeah, and it's not a Divas Battle Royal or whatever where, like, I feel like the scripting for those is always so bad and you just have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. And the weird thing about Usos versus Dudley is since it is like kicking off WrestleMania and you want to get people excited, like obviously this match is going to end with someone going through a table, but it's weird that the Dudleys are heels right now because you would think you would want to pop the crowd real big.
It's true.
I think I think the Usos will win, but I won't be surprised either way.
Yeah. I am really curious what's going to happen with tables because I feel like the Usos have really failed at trying to use the tables in place of Dudley's. But that could all be just, you know, leading up to this moment where finally they do it.
You know, Mark, this is the third year in a row that the Usos are on the pre-show, that they're on the kickoff show. Like, I'm sure they don't care because they get paid, you know? Like, it's all wrestle. It's all
Grammy winners would be on the main event,
right? Yeah, they won all those Grammys.
I don't know. I think it's probably part of what happens when the only thing you do is tag team wrestling because the thing WWE cares about the least is tag team wrestling.
Well, but on the other hand, you know, New Day was on the pre-show last year, and look at the New Day now.
Yeah, but I feel like what you get out of the New Day is different than what you get out of the Usos.
Yeah. The 10 Divas tag team match, Total Divas versus Bad and Blonde.
It's weird. That kind of their team name kind of gave away which side Eva Marie was going to side with when she came down the ramp.
Well, she couldn't side with Bad and Blonde for their full 5.
Well, Eva, you know, she hangs out with Nia Jax at NXT. She's playing it safe. She could have just tried to convince them.
Gotcha.
It should be fun.
I want to know what you thought about, because I have been calling it for a while that it was just going to be Eva. What did you think about the reveal and the reaction and all that?
I mean, I started laughing, not because, you know, I dislike Eva or anything. I think Eva's great. But it's just funny, kind of like, oh man, I hope people ironically enjoy her or something during Mania, because it's going to be really weird when she comes out to help the face team, you know, do her part, and she's just getting mercilessly booed.
It's great that she's such a heat magnet and so good at like being a heel, because she's like pretty invaluable for the main roster to have like a real honest to God natural, oh my God, I hate her so much heel. Mm-hmm. So after WrestleMania she's probably going to be pretty valuable for the Divas division. But she's going to play such a small role in WrestleMania itself in this match that it's fine.
Unless she turns on the Total Divas team, because she is such a heel, and she just joined up with them, you know, for the purpose of getting into the match and Mania in the first place.
That's a very good point. That would be fun. Or Nia Jax shows up and just like massacres everyone.
But I feel like that's a good way, because like there's going to be so much booing that they should probably just lean into it.
Yeah, well, they will. They absolutely will. I just don't know whether it'll be at WrestleMania.
So that's what I'm hoping for, is she turns.
Well, so you think Bad and Blonde will win this match then? In what is Brie Bella's retirement match?
I mean, that's
Sure.
how you go out, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So let's talk about the Dre. I bet you forgot about Dre,
Oh,
but we're going to talk about Dre. It's Dre Day.
I'm disappointed the social outcasts can't all win together as one. So I can't pick them. I have no clue who's going to win. I didn't bother counting to see how many people ran out for like the mini version of it on Raw. To see if they got the full 20 or whatever. If there's room for surprise entrance.
I was just excited that both Damian Sandow and Darren Young were on my television.
Yes, that was great.
I know for sure Goldust and R-Truth are in it because R-Truth went backstage and was like, "Hey, Goldust, fuck you. I'm in the Andre. Here's your snotty shirt. Peace."
At least R-Truth's schedule it seems to be working out better right now.
Well, maybe he thinks he's in the second annual Andre.
Oh, that's true. I don't know who's going to win, which is fun. They got the Big Show one out of the way.
I was hopeful that it would be Mark Henry, but then, boy, he just got double choke slammed by Big Show and Kane.
Yep.
He ran in and he's like, "Hey guys, me too." And they're like, "Fuck you. Get out of here." And he's like, "Okay."
My dream is that Cesaro is the last one to come out because he is in the European tour after Mania. And so if he's ready 2 weeks from now, maybe he's ready right now. But, he's the last one who comes out, and, Big Show and Kane are kind of tearing everyone apart until Cesaro reminds everyone that he is bigger and stronger than Big Show and Kane somehow.
Cesaro is strongest one there is.
I just want him to lift both of them at the same time and just throw them.
Oh, Jesus, don't get hurt again. they're very heavy men.
What if he spins both of them at the same time? It might be worth it.
Like, honestly, I think that it might just be Kane that wins it.
It could be.
Barring like some crazy, like if Titus O'Neil is the 20th man, or Cesaro, or, whoever.
Yeah. The thing with Big Show winning is, first of all, I mean, for a time, canon, Andre's son. So, gotta do that, and he's the Giant, so gotta have him win that. And also, as he mentioned on Raw 2 weeks ago, he never wins any Battle Royal or Royal Rumble, so, he had to win one eventually. Kane has so much success in, Rumbles and Battle Royals in the past, so I don't feel like there's the same, need to give him one of these. So I'm kind of hoping he doesn't win. But if this ends up being, the gold watch for guys, who are nearing the end, that's also fine.
All right, I'm saying Kane.
I am saying returning Cesaro because I refuse to stop dreaming.
I want to believe. We have Kalisto versus Ryback.
Kalisto sure makes Ryback look huge.
Yeah, I think this match could end up being super awesome.
Yeah. Ryback's always better when he's facing smaller guys than when he's facing big guys. And this has been a consistent thing with him for a long time now.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited to see this go down. And Ryback's fun when he works heel too, because he's a little, he's more. I mean, he's got more of an edge, but that's easy to say. But he seems to have more better pacing, understanding of what it is he needs to be doing. And he just looks so dangerous. So it's good to see him actually be dangerous. And Kalisto, of course, is Kalisto. He's great.
Yes, he is. Do you think he's going to retain?
I think so. It'd be pretty shitty to do you're small so you can't overcome the big guy, and then you don't overcome the big guy at WrestleMania.
It would be shitty. Also, I just hope that they let Kalisto be Kalisto and really impress people at WrestleMania. Just have 100,000 people be like, "Who's that little guy? Holy shit!"
Yeah, the people who haven't completely been watching, right. Even the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of people who are just going because it's WrestleMania and don't really pay attention.
Yeah, Monday is the first time they've watched, and
yeah,
there were so many people I saw on my timeline Monday on Twitter who were like, "Triple H is champion? Shane McMahon and Undertaker are wrestling? What is this?" So yeah, tons of people turning in the week before.
Yeah. So we agree that Kalisto Ryback's going to steal the show, going to blow Zayn versus Nakamura out of the water, and Kalisto's going to retain.
Match of the year candidate, obviously.
I'm excited because we're going to get to see the inaugural Everyone Hates Kevin Owens ladder match. Invitational.
It's amazing because he is the only guy who everyone could hate.
Yeah.
Just everyone. So yeah, you can pencil that in as an annual.
And I felt so bad for these dudes because they all got needlessly shit on by that Brooklyn crowd on Raw.
Man, fuck that crowd.
That was the worst. And that was probably a really good match.
You know, there are moments where, like, they want to boo Reigns, that's fine. Like, that's cool. You don't like Reigns. You are expressing that you don't like Reigns. That's fine. It's cool.
Also,
but when you have a match where it's like, you love Kevin Owens, you love Sami Zayn, like, the hell are you doing? Why are you shitting all over these guys? Why are you chanting CM Punk?
And I think the absolute, like the thing that, like, really parted the kimono about, like, how like, just up their own ass Brooklyn was and not, like, being genuine. And I fucking hate this when people, like, decide that they hate someone like John Cena or Roman Reigns or whatever. Like, that crowd fucking lost their minds when Roman Reigns did that dive onto everybody. Like, that was a genuine pop. Yeah. It was like everyone forgetting for a second to, like, pretend to hate this guy. And that's just infuriating.
Also, that dive was fucking great.
So swank.
So good. He doesn't use it often, but... No. Like, every time he does that, I'm like, oh shit, Roman Reigns could do that, I forgot.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about the ladder match right now.
Yeah. Which, I'm gonna guess.
But Raw came down to Zayn versus Owens, which I think is what the ladder match is going to come down to as well.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because doesn't it seem like, I mean, obviously we're projecting a bit, but that seems like the story they're telling with this match, right?
I thought the story was Zack Ryder got a new beard, and now he's ready to hold
He's had that beard forever.
It does look like it has, like, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, like, spray in it, though.
The Brian Wilson Just for Men.
Yeah.
The shoe polish.
But yeah, Zayn versus Owens is it's like the primary thrust of this match. It's, you know, everyone who's in it makes sense to varying degrees, but,
right.
You know. Nothing ever makes more sense than Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
So I think it's either going to come down to... I think it's going to come down to Zayn versus Owens, and I think that the two most likely endings are Owens screws over Sami in some way to retain the title, or Zayn overcomes all the odds to win the title and cap off his amazing WrestleMania weekend. I think the only other third option is Dolph Ziggler wins the title. To the delight of someone?
I think if Dolph screwed Sami Zayn to win, you could do a lot with that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty fresh matchup. Kevin Owens would still claim, he has a place in this. And then you can maybe set up a three-way... for the next event.
I think the only problem with that is that in a multi-person ladder match, like you have to be, like, insanely egregious if you're, like, quote unquote screwing someone, especially if you're doing it as a heel turn, because everyone in a ladder match is just putting everyone else through tables and chairs anyway. Like,
yeah,
but I think that they can do it, certainly. Yeah,
I mean, Dolph Ziggler is a natural heel, regardless of all the face selling that he does.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they can figure out a way to do it, but there's got to be some, just shitty way to have him beat Sami. But I do think, I'm not sure if it's going to be Ziggler, but I do kind of feel like there's going to be some kind of situation where a third party wins in both Owens and Zayn and Rond. Zayn probably more correct about how Rond he was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure who it would be.
Nor am I. But I will go ahead and say my prediction is Sami.
I think that's the safe way to go.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of ways where they could torture Sami Zayn further. Because if we've learned anything about Sami Zayn the character, it's delayed gratification.
Sami Zayn is suffering.
They're really into the whole edging Sami Zayn thing.
So we've got a match that one of the parties in the match didn't want none, but he got some in the form of AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho, it should be noted, now has a new dad blow tee, and it's pretty good. Some pretty good addition to his character there.
Everyone hit pause. Go look for it. Mm-hmm. Come back.
It's real gross.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I felt so bad for Zack Ryder because JBL just shit on him mercilessly. Where he was like, "You lost to a guy who didn't even have entrance music at WrestleMania." It's just like, oh my god, that's so. I mean, it's true, but also very mean. And he's wrestling at Mania this weekend.
The other thing that was funny about that is, so they came back from commercial, and Zack Ryder was already in the ring, but I didn't know that. So they came back from commercial, and they're showing the wrecked announce table, and Cole and JBL and Byron just sitting in their chairs in front of the smash table, and there's this music playing, and I'm like, what is this music? Is this like one of the four? Like, is this like the fourth theme to WrestleMania? And then they finally cut into the ring to Zack Ryder, like at the moment that his music like started looping around to the beginning again, and I was like, oh, I've never listened to his music that far.
The 4th minute of Zack Ryder music.
Yeah. Maybe that's the reason why Carlito's entrance theme was never longer than 35 seconds. That used to bug me so much. It bothered me so much. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember it.
Carlito's like, I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool, and it's like or whatever. But then it, like, on bigger shows, like where the walk to the ring is long, like if the walk to the ring or him standing in the ring is any longer than the walk to the ring and immediately his opponent being announced on Raw, it like the 33 or 34 seconds, like the music stops and he goes, I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool, and it starts over again. And there's no bridge, there's no interlude, there's no breakdown, it's just that.
Oh, that must have been torture at house shows.
It was torture for me.
They play those themes at house shows for like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
While they like play to the crowd or whatever before the other opponent comes out. So, oh man. The only other theme I can think of that was that short was Paige's original theme when NXT was still like a Hulu thing only.
I don't even remember that.
It was like a 45-second death metal, well, like speed metal thing.
Right.
But Paige would always like run to the ring at 100 miles an hour, so you never even heard it.
Oh, really?
But if you went to find the actual track though, like that track was 10 seconds longer than like the amount of time it took her to get situated.
Wow. I love Paige's theme now.
Oh, it's great.
Anyway, who do you think's going to win between Evil Dad and AJ?
It's got to be Styles. I mean, it feels like it just has to be Styles. Unless Jericho beats him in a way where everyone accepts Styles losing and just hates Jericho even more.
Yeah.
But it really feels like, Styles will put the cap on this rivalry, and they'll both be able to move on to something else.
Yeah, this is already the second go-round of this rivalry, and AJ Styles has only been in the company since January. That's kind of wild.
Jericho has to get ready for Nakamura now that he's, shitting on him all over Twitter.
Oh, man, I hope that happens for real.
Oh, me too. Just really, both of them coming out.
Also, like, one new, I like one quasi-new wrinkle of, like, Jericho being a heel, which he is the best at. Like, he's as good at being a heel as he is bad at being a cool face. But his lame insults are the fucking best. Hey, listen to me, you stupid ass.
He's like Dennis from It's Always Sunny, where he's just like, you idiot! Stupid idiot!
Yeah. So great.
I think
Styles win. What?
I can't tell what. Maybe you heard what it was. I think when he said he's the best in the world, I think someone down the ramp, one of the fans, yelled at him that that's CM Punk's thing. Because that's what I said in my living room.
Right.
But then I just see Jericho right after, like, the amount of time it took me to say that, turn and point to a fan and just like, you shut up, idiot.
Well,
so I'm really hoping a fan said the exact same thing, and Jericho essentially just called me an idiot.
Don't you remember that was what CM Punk and Chris Jericho's like feud was?
Oh, yeah.
I see.
But that's why, because it's so Jericho's all, the best of the world at what I do, but he didn't follow it up with the best in the world at what I do. He just said, like, something like, you can't treat the best in the world like that or whatever. I'm the best in the world.
Got it.
And then took the time to shut an individual fan up for correcting him on his own thing.
Shut your dumb mouth, idiot. I think Styles is going to win. I hope that, as cliche as it may be, I hope that Styles gets a nice WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. He could not really stop smiling just the prospect of having a Mania match, so it should be.
I'm really excited about him doing his springboard in Cowboy Stadium.
Yes.
That move is fucking unbelievable. Like, go back and look at pictures of his springboard forearm, and it's just... He's like a real-life superhero. It's crazy.
It's so cool.
You know who's the true winner in this match, Mark?
Is it us, the fans?
It is, but specifically the gay community.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We've got the New Day versus the Lads.
All four of the lads are still there, too.
Everything about League of Nations is so awesome except what they do.
It should be.
They're so great. Did you see the picture of them reenacting Michelangelo's creation of man?
No.
Rusev and Sheamus are holding Alberto Del Rio sideways. And Alberto's like reaching out a finger, and Barrett's laying on the ground in the man pose, like reaching out his finger to touch God. It's fucking unbelievable. You have to go find that. I retweeted it at some point on Monday night, so just scroll through my tweets or my photos or whatever and try and find that.
Oh man, I love them too, and I love everyone who's in that group. And I keep hoping every time they're on TV is the time where like they're really going to break through. Although I do enjoy this thing now where they're intentionally trying to be the most annoying team in existence and like intentionally being awful. Yeah. Because that's a good way to make it work.
Yeah, they're really great, and I just wish that they were like an actual force. But that, it's the same sort of complaint with the Wyatts. I loved Del Rio versus Kingston on Monday. Had absolutely, like without a doubt, Alberto's best double stomp ever when he stopped Kofi halfway from Kofi doing his like through the ropes Pele kick, and just like from a standing position on the mat just double stomped him off the ropes.
Yeah, it should be more like that. Like there's a threat of stomping from anywhere. Like we need stomping out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like his now his second best stomp is the one he did to Kalisto against the guardrail.
Oh yeah.
The barricade. But this one was better just because it was like so fast and unexpected. It was just great. But yeah, that should definitely be how he does that.
Yeah, the setup is too.
Yeah,
it's just too long.
And I think I think he understands that now.
Yeah.
But that was a good match, and Coach came back and told everyone that SportsCenter is going to be at WrestleMania. But there's probably still going to be some sort of surprise in New Day versus the Lads.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fourth person on New Day, an honorary unicorn.
I honestly don't think that there's gonna be like a fourth member to their team. I think it's gonna be a 4-on-3 match, but I think like something's gonna happen during it. But I mean, like, because we all want it to be Seth Rollins, but you're sort of wasting the Seth Rollins surprise if you do it anywhere but in the main event.
Yeah.
Although, you set up Seth Rollins early in the day, and you're like, Seth Rollins is here. I don't know.
No, I think the best way to, if you're going to use Seth in any way, if Seth is even, able to be used, is coming out at the last second.
Yeah. Divas triple threat: Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha. Who you got?
Oh, Sasha.
Okay.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be probably easily the longest women's match in WrestleMania.
It's gonna be the best main roster women's match of all time.
I am
not that hopes or expectations are high or anything.
Well, again, the bar to clear is, it's pretty low. I'm afraid that
Mickey versus Trish, possibly. Yeah. I don't know. There's probably like some.
I'm not saying they're all terrible. It's just like, it's amazing when you go back and try and think about it, and even just counting the number of women's title matches, right. Like women's title match, diva title match, whichever it is. Right. There's just so few.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like this will.
I'm excited that Sasha's got a really elaborate entrance planned.
Oh yes.
She's got some new gear. Maybe her cousin Snoop's gonna help her out.
Because the SummerSlam entrance was awesome.
So great. The Takeover Brooklyn entrance.
Yeah. Same weekend, same time. So yeah, good at Mania. Like who even knows? It's going to be
the only thing that gives me pause. Like I want Sasha to win. Everyone wants Sasha to win, but storyline wise, it might actually make most sense for Becky to win. But I'm going to predict Sasha because that's what I want to happen.
Well, I think Becky and Sasha have been at each other's throats enough in the lead into this that Becky has a pretty clear into a singles match with Sasha.
Well, sure.
So I think we'll get to Becky as champion, eventually. Mania.
They'll all be champion eventually.
Yeah, well, eventually, more eventually than others.
Got it.
But yeah, Sasha feels like the right pick for Mania. And, as much as we all love Sasha, like Sasha's still a heel. And this feels in some ways like a pretty face-heavy Mania. Mm-hmm. Especially with, I think it feels like a pretty face-heavy Mania. So this seems like a good way to both get a heel to win and also, also everyone is happy.
Is Sasha still a heel?
Yeah, I think so. Her interactions with Becky are probably the best way to gauge, like her alignment.
Right. We have once and future sandwich god Brock Lesnar going up against Dean Ambrose and his little red wagon.
The face Brock made when Dean pulled the chainsaw out from under the ring. Like, Brock was impressed. He was like, wow, I'm amazed it took this long for someone to try and chainsaw my limbs off.
He's like, you're going to need that.
It's just, Brock didn't want to interfere with anything Dean was doing.
Brock's like,
he just sat there.
Brock's like, joke's on you. I've spent the last 5 years developing a chainsaw immunity.
Someday I'm waiting for Brock to just pull a sword out of the tattoo on his chest. Like, that's what it actually is.
Yes. Perfect.
Man, this match is going to be bonkers. Do you think there is going to be a circus finish, and who is going to be involved in it?
I think the Wyatt family will get involved, but I think that they might get involved far enough away from the finish that it won't seem like a fuck finish.
I think there's a possibility that the Wyatts come out to try and rekindle their feud with Lesnar, but because Ambrose
has a chainsaw.
Ambrose has a chainsaw and also is Ambrose, and his hated rival is Bray.
Right.
They
join forces.
They kind of joined forces long enough to fight
off.
back the Wyatts, but then maybe Ambrose in a moment of opportunity, is able to get the win. So it's still not a clean win. But Ambrose doesn't accept the Wyatts' help, so everything still, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they're going to I think that I'm pretty positive Wyatt family's going to get involved in this match, but I think that they will do a good enough job so that people won't feel like it's a cheap finish.
Yeah. You're in a weird place where Ambrose deserves this win so bad, and someone has to beat Lesnar on occasion. And if you beat Lesnar via cheating, it's fine. Undertaker beating Lesnar with it being a bullshit finish ended up working once everyone realized what was going on. So you can do this a lot clearer with in a match with interference and weapons where everything is legal anyway.
All right, let me ask you something. Are we going to see blood in at least one match at WrestleMania?
I feel like there's going to be no blood for like the entire first 3 hours, and then it's just like every match is going to be bloody.
So okay. Do you think that there will be blood in more than one match?
Yes.
Do you think there will be blood in all of the top 3 matches?
Yes, every main event.
Nice. Okay. I look forward to that. Like, how awful, like, what horrible people we sound like. Like, there's going to be a lot of blood. Awesome. Great.
I mean, it might be blood capsules or might be real blood.
Right.
Kind of depends on the match and the people involved in it, but it's going to be on screen. And that's really the thing that they've been trying to avoid. But it's Mania. You can't have Shane versus Taker with the way Undertaker was bleeding on Raw.
Right.
For like the first,
it's just going to happen.
8:15, from like very not little things, but he's bleeding way before the crazy elbow.
All right, let me get you. Let me get your Dean versus Brock prediction from you.
All right, I think Ambrose wins. Does not win clean because you can't have even with his great Lesnar's greatest weaknesses in steel and dick punches like. Still shouldn't have him lose, completely clean.
Right.
But I don't think Ambrose betrays anything that we believe him to be in the process.
Right. Yeah, I think there's also a really strong chance that like the Wyatts attack Lesnar without Ambrose seeing that they attacked Lesnar. Like that's a very strong possibility. Is that the Wyatts run down while Dean's incapacitated on the outside, and like on the other side of the ring. And, like, maybe Brock goes looking for plunder or something. The Wyatts pop up. They beat him down. And then Ambrose, like, comes to while Brock's crawling back in the ring. And then Ambrose hits, like, a dirty deeds on a chair or something.
That makes sense. The finish has to involve steel. Or
Yes.
a dick punch. Steel or a dick punch.
Or a chainsaw. Well, a chainsaw can be steel.
Steel to the dick.
Yeah.
That's
that would just make Lesnar explode. Like,
which I think if you pin the pieces, that still counts, right?
Yeah, it'd be like the death of Smaug.
But yeah, that's the perfect finish. The only way to put Lesnar down and still give Dean time to get out of the ring.
Mm-hmm. I'm into it. I am also predicting Ambrose. So let's talk about Shane versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
It's gonna be blood.
With Undertaker's WrestleMania career versus the control of Raw.
I still think your theory about Taker intentionally losing because Vince just fucks with the match one too many times fits.
Yeah.
Because you think Shane is going to fire Taker forever if Taker lays down for him.
Right.
Like, that's problem solved. Okay.
Yeah. I also like that everyone involved in this match is like so like full of machismo and like no, I'm not afraid of you, or like I'll stand up to whatever. That they're too dumb to figure out. Like, hey, Taker, you know what? If I win, you don't have to listen to what Vince said. You can wrestle. You can wrestle at all the WrestleManias. It's cool.
It's gonna take, like you said, Vince coming in just one too many times.
Yeah,
and Taker being like,
I'm looking forward to Vince like climbing in the cell, and he's like with his like angry lips, and be like, kill him, son of a bitch, Because it's going to happen. He's going to be like, send that son of a bitch straight to hell.
Oh, I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
And, God, yeah, there needs to be...
I came up with the shittiest fanfic, the other day when I was just, fucking around, walking around. I was like, what if they reveal... What if they reveal that Shane is actually Paul Bearer's other son with Undertaker's mother, and Undertaker's mother was best friends with Linda McMahon, and so Linda agreed to take the son in, but they never told anyone.
So his name is Shane Kane.
Shane Bearer. No, Shane Bearer.
Shane Bearer?
Yeah. Because Kane's name isn't Kane. Kane! It's got to be Kane.
Should have been Kane.
Yeah. Anyway, what it was? Give me your extended thoughts on this match.
It feels like Shane has to win, especially with what we all assume are going to be the results of the main event. Like, one of these things, there needs to be some major change that I think most people will be happy about. And authority out of power feels like that major change.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been beating this drum for so long, I have to stick by my prediction. But, at the same time, would not be surprised if Shane lost and then goes away again or whatever.
Yeah, just seems like a weird use of him, since you could still have him be in power but not be there every week.
Right. Yes.
And it creates these new stories, or maybe not new stories, but, updated versions of old ones with, Stephanie versus Shane and all that.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's definitely time for the authority to be banished. And there's no even if Shane loses here, there's nothing to stop them from pulling the trigger on that story and or a brand split at whatever the next one is, Payback or whatever the next one is.
And Stephanie and Triple H seem like they're riding so high right now. The promos they gave on Monday were just
yeah,
the most McMahon Helmsley promos possible.
Yeah.
They seem like they were intentionally over the top even for them.
Right.
Maybe because it's the last one they're going to be giving for a while. Because, if Shane wins and Triple H loses, then the authority is just broken and beaten. So, there's no coming back from that, at least not immediately. They'll need time to, come up with a new plan in the shadows.
Mm. Well, having said that, I'm predicting Shane. You're predicting Shane?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the main event, World Heavyweight title match between Triple H and Roman Reigns, possibly in a no DQ situation. What I think is, I think that there's a strong chance Roman Reigns turns heel, and I think there's also a chance that, if Roman Reigns turns heel, that sort of makes Shane winning have even more possibilities, because then you have Roman Reigns, who could possibly, if he turns heel, be convinced to become an agent of the authority, holding the title on Raw that Shane controls.
Hail Hydra.
Yes. Anyway, I think that, I know Roman Reigns is going to win the title. I just don't know whether he'll be a heel or a face by the time he does so.
It feels like it's time to make him a heel. They've already got him coming through the entrance, instead of coming down through the crowd. People want to boo him at this point. Usually if there's excitement, it is kind of drowned out, or it just turns into this muddled halfway sound where it just sounds like the crowd is murmuring about Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So, I was in the corner of no, you gotta see this through. You gotta do it. People will come around, but they've just done it so poorly as a face that I keep referring to it as tricking people into thinking that there's an organic face turn and push happening. So, have him win, have him go heel in the process, and work your way back to it over time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to put that to bed. Do you think The Rock gets involved in the main event, or he's just out there to cut his standard, 30-minute WrestleMania promo?
I kind of hope he's out there on another day where we're all wondering, what Rock has been ingesting before he shows up on television. Maybe with less attacking Lana this time, but yeah, I assume it'll be just kind of a break for everyone to laugh in the middle of the show.
Yeah. All right, Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I think the match is going to be good. I think the match itself is going to be good. I
just realized how funny.
Small sample size, but the only clunker main event I can remember did involve Triple H, and it was WrestleMania 25. Very small sample size. So I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, H has looked great in what we've seen him do, in this recent turnaround and coming back. Roman Reigns, for all the complaining about him, like I love his ring work.
His main event last year was so awesome.
Yeah, it was unexpected and really great, and he's really only gotten better since then.
Okay, so we're talking about Roman Reigns turning heel. Here's a possibility. Rollins runs in, takes umbrage with Triple H, like goes after Triple H because he takes umbrage with Triple H, having given away his title and turned his back on him after claiming he was a golden boy. So while he's attacking Triple H, Roman Reigns then attacks Seth Rollins, fully completing the double turn there.
Yeah, I think that could work.
And then you have Reigns winning, and you have, regardless of what happens with Shane, you've got a three-way feud because Reigns hates Rollins, and Rollins hates Triple H, and now Reigns too.
That definitely works. I was thinking about a way to use The Rock, where you have Rock come out to celebrate with Reigns again, except this time Reigns spears him and starts beating up The Rock. I mean, no one's going to cheer anyone beating up The Rock, probably. So not at a Mania.
Especially not Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So that seems like an easy thing to do to set up for another time too. If it's no DQ and people come out to help one another, I mean, I don't see him turning on Ambrose in any way. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you're gonna go heel, you might as well go heel. Set it up in some logical way.
Yeah.
If there's some kind of miscommunication accident in the middle of the match or whatever, and Reigns takes it out on Ambrose at the end, even if he wins. But yeah, they're got to do something. And there's that rumor that Mania is going to go long, right? Like they're telling pay-per-view providers to allot even more time.
Yeah.
So you could have the match itself maybe be kind of standard in length and everything, but then save the heel stuff for then, so that on Monday, when the crowd is so ready to boo Roman Reigns, it's because you're happy because you want them booing Roman Reigns. Yeah, it kind of feels like it has to happen on Sunday, because it's not Mania I'm worried about. It's the night after Mania that I'm concerned about.
I'm not worried about the night after Mania at all, because we're going to get debuts, we're going to get call-ups. It's going to be awesome.
Well, just in terms of Reigns reception,
right? Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
Night after Mania as a whole, it'll be great. They'll forget about Reigns or whatever. But in that moment, man, you want to capture those boos as a positive.
The best thing is going to be Roman Reigns turns heel, and then all the people who booed him are going to start loving him. They're going to be like, "This guy's the best." Yeah.
Immediately.
I hate everybody.
It'll be so quick, but that's what I mean about tricking people into feeling like it's an organic push.
Right. For sure.
Because that's the problem. You've just got people who have decided, it's the same kind of people who chant about, they chant something even though it makes no sense in a situation or whatever. It's because they think it's something they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And Reigns has gotten to that point where being booed is a thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So make it the thing they're supposed to do.
Well, we're excited about WrestleMania as the takeaway here. Let's talk about one more thing before we get out of here. Lucha Underground last week. Aztec Warfare 2.
It was pretty okay.
How you like a Matanza?
Holy shit. So, Matanza would be impressive if he were just a big dude, who just tearing people apart like he's been, in the vignettes and everything.
Right.
But he can apparently also do fucking standing shooting star presses,
right,
and use 17 different finishers to eliminate people. So apparently he's just a wrestling god, right. Literally. I mean, storyline he is a wrestling god,
right?
But apparently in real life he is also a wrestling god. So yeah, this is exciting. It was a minor concern because they do things so well. I didn't think Matanza was just going to be a big dumb oaf kind of guy,
right?
But man, seeing him in action was better than any optimism I might have had about what kind of character he'd be.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I was concerned at first when I saw him, especially when I saw him in action. I actually saw him wrestle I actually saw him wrestle at a taping before I saw him debut at Aztec Warfare. So I was concerned because it sure seems like every non-WWE promotion pretty much in the world at some point puts a belt on like a literal monster champion, because it's like, well, just look at him. Look at how big he is. And there's not really anything to back that up, you know? Like, sure, he's big and he's strong, but he's just sort of like plodding and lumbering. Like, that's normally the trap that most promotions will fall into at one point or another. But this, you know, this actually feels exciting and unpredictable and crazy. So I like it.
Yeah, I legitimately feel like, how is anybody going to stop him? And not just because like Lucha Underground wants me to feel that way.
And also him destroying, like him catching Rey Mysterio of all people out of midair and planting him with a power move to win the title.
Yeah.
Like, that's the ultimate, like, here's how you guarantee that your heel will get booed.
Yeah. Yeah, the Temple went from cheering Cueto to booing him and his brother in record time, essentially. Just taking out everyone like one little, you know, one move at a time, everyone you love. Ugh, I'm very excited about this. Like, everything has changed. You know, Muertes and Katrina had to slither away because they're in no position to be challenging Cueto right now. Mm-hmm. Phoenix got taken care of by Matanza like he was nothing. Mm-hmm. And like Rey Mysterio put up a fight, but man, if Rey Mysterio can't beat you, like,
or Puma,
Yeah, he just handled everyone, and it didn't seem like it took much effort for him. And also, I love that his wrestling gear has, you know, stranger's blood all over it.
Yes, actual human blood.
Like didn't bother to clean it. Mm-hmm. Didn't go to the cleaners.
It's the only coveralls he has. He doesn't want to go to the laundromat nude.
I also love that he's not like some uncontrollable monster,
right?
You know, it seems more like he was locked away for his own safety.
Right.
Because Cueto, you know, like, he doesn't freak out when Cueto grabs him or anything like that. He very clearly knows what his role is and what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's a neat twist on the whole monster thing. Because, you know, he is a legit monster who, you know, ate one of the, who ate Bale, but, yeah, I don't know. It's
one of my favorite moments was like Chavo being like, "Look, we'll make a deal. It'll be fine." And then like Dario doing like the throat slash signal to Matanza.
So great, because Cueto's like, yeah, kill him.
Also, one of the best bits of business in like a Royal Rumble type match ever is Joey Ryan like having like what on paper is a very good strategy, and then it immediately backfiring on him like the worst of anything. Like, everyone punching him in the face without him being able to fight back, getting misted, getting minis tossed at him.
And I love that it was really all to set up Matanza ripping the railing out that he was handcuffed to so that he could pin him anyway.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Just good stuff. You should be watching Lucha Underground, is what we're saying.
And we saw Pentagon Jr. hurt Mil Muertes.
Yep.
Which
and we saw,
is nice, because I want to see those two hurt each other.
Because he broke Mil Muertes' arm.
Yeah. But man, you don't see anyone really hurt Muertes ever except for Phoenix. So it's nice to see like two instances of Pentagon Jr., you know, taking him down, because Muertes was taken care of in a hurry.
Right.
You know, much faster than I expected, and much faster than anyone expected. So yeah, it's I'm really wondering, you know, how are they going to band together to stop him? Stop Matanza? Is it going to be one person? You know, season's been great so far. It's been moving along much quicker, and more has been coming together than it did in season one by this point. Mm-hmm. Which might be because it's, you know, they're more established, and also it's a shorter season than season one was.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, Aztec Warfare served this purpose of like not only remembering all the stories that they're telling, but like tying them together and advancing them, you know, all in one episode. And so now, like, there's just so much to look forward to and so many questions to be answered in a good way. The rest of the season just seems like it's going to be, you know, great. everyone watch Lucha Underground.
Yeah, definitely. We also got to see Famous Pete, who I missed initially upon watching his most recent commercial, but he is a retired superstar. Missed that.
Oh.
So
he's a manager now?
Yeah. He's trying to help people get fame.
Handing out the business cards was great.
Yeah.
Especially because he handed one to Joey Ryan while he was handcuffed.
Right. So good. Yeah, I'm just excited about Lucha Underground, where it goes from here. And apologies if we haven't paid enough attention to it, but it is WrestleMania. I am excited like you can't believe. Like, I am out of my mind. Like, after that opening segment, like when Shane dropped the elbow on The Undertaker, I was just like, I was freaking out. My mind was going crazy. Like, I was like, it's happening. I'm leaving in a couple days. This is amazing. Everything's going to be the best forever.
I love that they did that because, like, Hell in a Cell won't allow them to do that.
Well, you would
So
think.
it's like, yeah. I mean, they still might find a way.
Shane McMahon is definitely jumping off the top of the Hell in a Cell.
Oh, didn't they make them taller just to keep people from doing things like that ever again?
Yeah, but it's Shane McMahon.
That's true. How are you gonna
He's
stop
like,
him?
I jumped off the tallest Hell in a Cell in history.
Oh man, please don't do that, Shane. But yeah, it felt like they did that so that they could get it, do that on Raw and get everyone hyped for the Hell in a Cell match, which cannot possibly contain that. Please don't contain that. We would like you to wrestle again someday, Shane. Or, live.
I think that's going to do it, man. The next time you talk to us, it's going to be post-WrestleMania. We'll know what happened, and that's crazy. We'll be in the future, and we'll also be joined once again by our very, very special guest, the one and only Griffin McElroy. He is actually going to WrestleMania as well on Sunday. It's going to be his first WrestleMania. I think it's going to be his first live wrestling event. Well, his second live wrestling event, because I'm also taking him to the WWN Live Super Show. But it's going to be great. We love having Griffin, and we love WrestleMania. We're excited that we get to see it. We're excited for all of you. I'm the most excited for people who are going to WrestleMania, and it's their first WrestleMania, because there's nothing like it. This time of the year always turns me into a gigantic goon because it's so exciting. Mark, you excited?
I mean, I'm not going to WrestleMania,
but you're excited, and it was just
I'm super excited.
It was just your birthday. It's like your birthday week and WrestleMania. Happy birthday, Mark!
Thank you. Yeah, I'm having someone over for NXT Takeover, and then we were doing a birthday thing on Saturday, and then having a WrestleMania party on Sunday. So
yes,
I'm gonna have quite the weekend, even though I'm not gonna be in Arlington.
Hell yes. So make sure you stay tuned to CageSideSeats.com all week. SBNation.com/wrestling is going to have a ton of stuff on there. Please make sure that you keep it pinned to my Twitter account, Sundown Motel, and keep it pinned to Mark's Twitter account. Mark, what's that Twitter account?
Mark_Normandin.
Because he's going to be tweeting out cool pictures from his WrestleMania party, I bet.
I will be probably tweeting and annoying people. Oh, man. People were so angry on Twitter, like non-wrestling people were angry about all the excited wrestling tweets on Monday. They have no idea that Monday's like the quietest wrestling day of this week.
Yep. That's what I saw someone say. I saw someone tweet that out. Like, if you're this is probably the fourth. This is probably the night of this week that's gonna have the fourth most wrestling tweets.
Sorry, everyone. Not sorry. Anyone who's listening to this,
not sorry at all to anyone ever. But yeah, thanks to everyone for listening. If you want to holler at us, Rudo Radio podcast at gmail.com. I don't even remember. I'm so excited.
Just tell them to tweet at us. Tweet
at us, please. And if you want to go to iTunes, if you enjoy this podcast at all, go to iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe. And if you don't even want to think about leaving a review for us, here's what you type in. You type in, "This podcast is better than Brooklyn." And leave us any amount of stars. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll talk to you next week, everybody. WrestleMania!